Okay, shall we start? And you can supply if I missed something. Okay, so we are about to start on the five. We are on the setting. Under the setting, we have the five excellences. We have done the teacher, and now we're on the location. But Rinpoche told us when he came on, he said that he reminded us that we have to take this teaching very seriously, super seriously, he says, and reminded us that this is completely up to us. I mean, he as a teacher, he says, I'm trying, but it's not always physically possible because he said he's been doing a puja from 7 till 6:30. They've done this 49 days puja for a deceased person, and there's also something happening in his brother is leaving for Dolpo, so they're having a family gathering. So there are things that he has other things to attend to, but it's up to us really to listen to this and be reminded and listen as if, as is the case, Samantabhadra is teaching and the four Buddha families are present. So unless he says that we approach it with respect, if we don't respect this teaching, what will we respect then? When will we apply our respect if not to this teaching? So perhaps we never want to expect respect anyone, but of course, when we in the case where we're signing a contract for a job or we buy a house or something, then we might be very respectful. But this is respect in the spiritual context. So it's really important that we remind ourselves this. Anyway, back to the text, and this is a beautiful start of this Tantra with the outline of the topic, the purpose, the result, and the connection. These four things we discussed yesterday that the wise ones should look for in a text. So, this is an intelligent way of studying the the name and the purpose. The tantra starts with the what is called the lengshi, which is the bringing up the topic, the introduction. What is it said here? It says the setting. Here it's called the setting, but the Tibetan is Lengshi, so we said the base of a discussion actually is what Rinpoche wanted to translate it with. So the base was this, is actually the course for this Tantra to emerge, which is the discussion of Samantabhadra. And the condition is how it is discussed. That is what comes later here as the prelude, I guess. And then we have the result is the topic or the body of the Tantra itself. Now we are at the first of these. We're at the base of the discussion, and here we have the four excellences. No, sorry, the five excellences. I'm sorry, five excellences, not four. So the teacher is the first. He is Samantabhadra, and he's not a Buddha that has become enlightenment. He was enlightened from beginningless time, from the very beginning. So Rinpoche reminded us that that time doesn't have a beginning, or samsara doesn't have a beginning, but Samantabhadra is the first. He's the primordial Buddha. And here we come to, this is what we did last time, and now we are at the second, the location. So this here it says the unexcelled realm, the Tibetan name is Ok Min. Ok Min under, and Min is a negation, so there's nothing, it's not under anything. So it means it's the highest. It's not below anything else. And as for this realm, there is no distance, therefore there is no center, and it pervades everything like Dharma Dhatu. So this is not like any other physical place. It says here it's devoid both of center and limits. This vast and unconfined self-display is the palace of the basic space of phenomena, the Dharma Dhatu, and the mandala of the essential enlightenment of all phenomena. It is not a confined realm that is located among pure or impure fields. So you can so any other ordinary phenomena we can discuss, so we can understand them in terms of size, shapes, and so forth. But this is not the case with this location. And then the retinue, the next one, the retinue, is the holders of ultimate bodhicitta, and they are not different from Samantabhadra. So here Rinpoche talked about how we talk about Samantabhadra and we talk about the retinue. And as an image, when we look at it from the outside, it looks like Samantabhadra and his retinue. But in reality or in the mind, it is not different. So this is just like a reflection in the mirror. So like when that it's not different, like when we look at ourselves in the mirror, we see a reflection in the mirror, but it's still me. It's still the same. So in this way, we could understand that that the retinue is the reflection of Samantabhadra. They're not different from Samantabhadra, the enlightened retinue. But for our sake, I guess we see it that way. Then we come to time. So the time is the fourth time, and somebody asked this, what is the fourth time? And here we get the answer. The fourth time is the time which again equals the Dharma Dhatu. When you destroy the concept and framework of time, this is the unchanging time. And it's not like normal time that we can divide into minutes and seconds and weeks and months. So this time is beyond concept, as it says here. It is the changeless state of basic space, the equality of the four times. This eternal wheel of adornment of enlightened body, speech, and mind is effortlessly and spontaneously present as the richly arrayed ornament. It is therefore not a limited period divided into past, present, and future. So these are the three other times. Nor is it composed of instants, moments, or otherwise. So we've learned this before, right? That how time, or in the Buddhist understanding, everything is instantaneously, like, right, causally connected, smallest moment of consciousness, and everything constantly changes. Not like that here. It's not something that can be divided into past, present, and future, and it's not composed of instants. It's again the timeless, changeless, basic space of phenomena. Then the Tantra. The Tantra talks again beyond the ordinary presentation of phenomena. Phenomena here in this Tantra are explained from the enlightened perspective. So otherwise, when we study Buddhism, when we study the sutra text, they talk about causes, conditions, what to adopt and what to abandon, how we collect the causes and conditions for enlightenment. But here we don't have to collect causes and condition, because enlightenment is a continuity. From the enlightened perspective, the ground path and fruition enlightenment, the Buddha nature, is always present. It's a continuum. Like the text says, the Tantra shows that all phenomena within samsara and nirvana are primordially perfect, completely awakened and inseparable as the nature of great purity and equality. The teaching is, therefore, not concerned with how certain causes and effects should be accepted or rejected. So this is what we have learned for those of you who are in the Longchen Shedra. This is topics that we have studied in the previous years, causes, conditions, and so on. But this is from the enlightened perspective. Neither does it explain the way to cultivate the courses for Buddhahood that results at a later time by relying on one's potential, as spiritual friends, and other factors. So we remember when, I think it says in even in Longchenpa, the causal vehicles, we call the lower vehicles. And this is not the causal vehicles, the Sutrayana, we call the causal vehicles. This is not it. And then it says these points can also be understood from the brief presentation of the setting, where it says, at the time when it is thus taught. The phrase thus taught indicates the indivisible realization of the teacher and his retinue. Likewise, there is a special reason for saying at the time when it is, rather than at one time it was. So this is a translation here from Tibetan. I don't know how successful, how precise it was. But if you read like the Heart Sutra, it says, Deke takidu chikna, thus I have heard. It is often translated like that. All the sutras start in that way, thus I have heard. And here it says, Deke, Deke chepe du na, instead of du chikna. Du is time, chik once, when once upon a time. So here it's rendered differently. Instead of say du chikna, it says du na. A little bit Tibetan here. So it was actually, I think it was better like Rinpoche said, it doesn't say once upon a time. It said uh, it says yeah, so the Heart Sutra said, thus I have heard, or once I heard, on Vulture Peak, etc. It means that so then then we are in the past, right? Then we are referring to a three-part time of past, present, future. But here it's not. When it says uh, uh, it says, when I taught, actually, it means that you are the collector and you are also the speaker and the transcriber. I'm not sure if I got this right, but it's more, it has this timeless, timeless sense of it. It's not once upon a time Samantabhadra or some Buddha said something in a historical time. But yeah, does anybody else have better notes?
I think I think it's mixing two things. So the first one is what is in the text is saying the phrase thus taught indicates the indivisible realization of the teacher and his retinue. And
Mm.
I think in that context, he was more emphasizing that we are the teacher and the transcriber, or the teacher and the student.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in the next with the what you say, Duchikna, like once upon a time, and
Mhm.
Duna, yeah, then that what you said is exactly what he said, that
Okay, so,
usually,
so
yeah.
okay, so there's two levels of indivisibility here between the teacher, the retinue, and the transcriber. And then the second one is the indivisibility of time. Is that right?
I think one could say it like that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, so it doesn't say once upon a time, and that's actually, I think that's better once upon a time. But I think the actual translation that is usually used is once, thus I have heard. So these short sentences explain a lot. They explain the basic discussion and the internal discussion on bodhicitta and the secret clarity and wisdom discussion. So there are three levels here. Then what you have to know is the basis tantra and uh, how illusion arise. Oh yeah, the basis tantra and how things arise, the arising of peaceful and wrathful deities, and to study this in greater details, you can study Longchen Pa's commentary where he explains it words by word, a Tsiktrel commentary. I'll just read what it says here. The Tantra shows that all phenomena within samsara and nirvana are primordially perfect, completely awakened, and inseparable as the nature of great purity and equality. The teaching is therefore not concerned with how certain causes and effects should be accepted or rejected. Neither does it explain the way, this that we have done, to cultivate the courses for Buddhahood that results in later time by relying on one's. Oh no, sorry, I'm here actually. In this way. In this way, the meaning of the words in the brief presentation of the setting should be explained by correlating them with three aspects. So here we have the outer aspect, the setting for the appearance of the tantra, as we have discussed how this tantra came about, how it was brought up, and the inner aspect, the array of the awakened mind, and the secret aspect, the principle of luminous wisdom. And then a detailed explanation of the five perfections begins with an account of how the mandala of the natural and spontaneously present ground arises from the state of compassion, and how the mandalas of the peaceful and wrathful deities are then projected out from it. So this is not something we will be taught in detail here, but such details can be learned from the elaborate exposition found in the commentaries to the words and meaning of this Vajratantra. So perhaps someone knows um, which text, what the text is called, the Longchenpa's commentary on Guhyagarbha Tantra.
It's something of light that dispels all darkness in the 10 directions, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we can read a more precise, a more detailed explanation here. If you are okay so far, I will go on to the questions that you asked and see if you got the answers. So the first question, what is the difference between the wisdom of the third and fourth empowerment? So Rinpoche said the wisdom empowerment mainly empowers you to practice with a consort. That is the third empowerment, and we will get to this. The vast empowerment is for generation stage. Uh, Um, so that is for, so now here I'm not sure. So one empowerment is for your own body, for Tumo and so forth. Is that the vast empowerment?
No, that's the second.
That's the second. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the third, okay, so the second empowerment is for to practice with your own body, with the channels and winds. And then the third is for practice with the partner. And then, as I understand it, the fourth is all of them together, but without the support of a partner or the previous, I guess, channels and winds and so on. Is that right? Is that what?
Yeah, I think his main point was
Got?
like the fourth one is not conditioned because it's
Yeah,
introducing directly. Whereas,
yeah.
yeah, the third one, you need a
So
partner,
without
and so on.
without partner channeled wins or these supports.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So then the question was, why is Kala Chakra a common tantra? And Rinpoche says it is not a common tantra, but similar to Guhya Garbha tantra. Um, and then there was a question, are there any tantra, any higher tantras like an Ati Ati tantra? And Rinpoche said that well, there is no tantra in which the view is higher, and that is why this tantra is in high demand. Why the Guhya Garbha is in high demand. But regarding the practice of Dzogchen, Dzogchen has its own quality. So, so then he said this tantra is like an adapter, like he brings an you bring an adapter when you go to Taiwan or something to be able to plug in your computer. This tantra, as for practice techniques, Dzogchen is better, but but for the view and the connection between the part, I guess, the ground path and fruition, this is the best. This is best at connecting the different tantras, the three parts. Huh? Is that what other people got? More or less? Okay. Um, and then Arne raised the question, when in our commentary it seems to say that Kala Chakra is not what did you say, an extraordinary tantra?
Yeah, and this is because I was going back to Louis' question, and I'm also
Mhm.
curious how Louis was getting it. I just show
Mhm.
you, wait, can I just share it, what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, I'll just
referring
stop my
to?
sharing. Yeah.
Um, so in our commentary, because Louis and I discussed it already, like in the first class,
Mhm.
so we have like two classes of Tantra right here, the
Mhm.
common variety and then the profound
Yeah.
extraordinary. And
Mhm.
then for the former, which is all the common, because then the
Mhm.
second comes. So in all this former, the common, the wheel of time is mentioned
Yeah,
as one
yeah,
of the
right.
three. That's where Louis' question came
Mhm.
from. And that's what
Yeah,
I wanted to go back to the quote of Mipham Rinpoche,
yeah.
where
Okay.
he is putting it in that former, in the common category.
Then it's strange because Rinpoche says in Mahayoga Mipam. No, I didn't get this. In Mahayoga, Mipam made father, mother, and non-dual mm, tantra, and he puts the Kala Chakra in the non-dual tantra section.
Yes.
And then I didn't. He said the word we have to use prajna or what? There was one word I didn't understood. When Nigma will say that this tantra is sharper, but Kala Chakra tantra has been close to Guhya Garbha tantra, and that's why we don't use these general concepts. Texts never put Kala Chakra in the common tantra, but always as extraordinary. That's what my note says.
Yeah, exactly. I wrote the same. So he said
Mhm.
something like in general teachings, maybe the Nyingma masters say Gaba Tantra has more sharpness than Kalachakra Tantras.
Mhm.
So if they
Mhm.
compare, they would say it like that. But
Mhm.
actually, it's so close to Gaba Tantra, and therefore Mipham Rinpoche is saying it's very special and
Mhm.
not common. But yeah,
Okay.
but still, I
But still, he
was
says it's common.
yeah, I read it in that, but maybe
Mm,
Mipa was just using it as an example without saying
mm,
it's common. But
mm.
Louis, how did you get all the answers to your question. And for that, please unmute yourself. Your face is handsome, but not enough.
I didn't get anything different than you.
Mm.
He just said it's not common. So
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah, it makes sense content-wise how Mipan Rinpoche is talking about it. It makes sense to say Mipan Rinpoche is saying it's special. Yes.
Yeah, because what was confusing in the commentary is that it seemed to be put in the common, but then it was always praised as
Yeah.
teaching the fourth wisdom, the fourth empowerment, and being so special and this and that, and then it seemed to be contradictory. So
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So then a question from Tanya, still about Kala Chakra. It says that this is a Maha of Ati. So what about Kala Chakra Tantra? And Rinpoche says Kala Chakra Tantra is Maha Yoga, but he says, I'm not sure where to put it. How it teaches, I really don't know. It teaches the Guhyagarbha teaches all phenomena as a reflection of mind. So it is similar to Ati Yoga. With Kala Chakra, I don't know in detail because I haven't really studied it that closely. But however, I have the image that Kala Chakra really talks about the fourth empowerment. So in that part, it is similar to Guhyagarbha. However, the entire text, whether it says that everything, all phenomena are reflections of mind, I don't know. Is that what you other guys got? Okay. Okay. Then I guess we have to review this individually and just study, and we will meet in a month or so. When is the... Oh, I have the 14th of May, I think is the next one. So, okay, so until then, we have to study. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much.
You.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
bye.
Bye.